Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we have this turtleneck sweater vest. It's really easy to do, it's perfect for beginners and it works up really fast. All you need is a weight 5 yarn and a 7mm crochet hook. In this tutorial I make a size small. For all other sizes check out my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So the yarn I used was Paintbox Simply Chunky. This is a weight 5 yarn. I used about 4 balls for a size small. So we're going to begin by starting off with the back panel and we're going to chain 8. Then we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and then slip stitch into each of the remaining chains. At the end of the row, chain 1 and then turn your work. And now we're going to be working into the back loops of every stitch. So into that very first stitch, place 1 slip stitch into the back loop and then place 1 slip stitch into each of the remaining stitches, working into the back loop only. And you're going to repeat this row until you have a total of 65 rows completed. So once you have your 65 rows completed, your piece should look like this. So now we're going to be working single crochet all the way across. So chain 1 and then make 65 single crochet all the way across. For row 2, chain 1 and then turn your work. Single crochet into that very first stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next. And you're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip the next stitch and then single crochet into the next. And you're going to repeat that all the way across until you reach the end of the row. Here we are coming up towards the end of the row. So we're going to finish off by chain 1, skip the next stitch and then single crochet into that last stitch. For row 3, chain 1 and you're going to repeat row 2. You're going to single crochet into that very first stitch. Chain 1, skip that chain 1 space and then single crochet into the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip over that chain 1 space and single crochet on top of the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way across. And you're going to repeat this row until the end of row 53. Once you reach row 53, the end of row 53, we're going to fasten off. So at the end of row 53, your piece should look like this. For the front panel, we're going to repeat this process again until we reach the end of row 49. So once you reach the end of row 49 on our front panel, your piece will look like this. So now we're going to start working on our neckline. So we're going to count 18 stitches in and place a stitch marker. That should be in a chain 1 space. So place your stitch marker into that chain 1 space and then on the other side count 17 stitches in and your stitch marker should be in a single crochet. So continuing on from where we are now, we're going to chain 1, single crochet into that very first stitch, then chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet on top of the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way across until you have 2 stitches left before our stitch marker. So here I am at the end. I've just made a single crochet. I have a chain 1 space and a single crochet left just right before our stitch marker. So now we're going to single crochet 2 together. Insert your hook into that chain 1 space, pull your yarn through, insert your hook into the next single crochet, pull your yarn through, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So next we are going to single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into that very first stitch, pull your yarn through, insert your hook into the next single crochet, pull your yarn through, then yarn over and pull through 3. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet on top of the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and then single crochet on top of the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way across. At the end of the row, we are going to chain 1, turn our work, single crochet into that very first stitch, then chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet on top of the next single crochet, and you're going to repeat that all the way across until 2 stitches remain. So here I am at the end. I should have a chain 1 space and a single crochet left. So now we're going to single crochet 2 together. So we're going to insert our hook into that chain 1 space, pull our yarn through, insert our hook into that last single crochet, pull our yarn through, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Then we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into that very first stitch, pull your yarn through, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull your yarn through, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Then we're going to chain 1, skip that chain 1 space, single crochet on top of the next single crochet, then chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and then single crochet on top of the next single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way across. Once you reach the end, we're going to fasten off and leave a long tail. So now your work will look like this. It's time to start working on the other side. So our stitch marker is in stitch number 17. On the other side, it's in a single crochet. So we're going to attach our yarn into that stitch. So once your yarn is attached, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, and then chain 1. Now we're going to single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into that same single crochet, pull your yarn through, insert your hook into the next chain 1 space, pull your yarn through, and then yarn over and pull through 3. Then we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, and we're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that all the way across. At the end of the row, chain 1 and then turn your work, single crochet into that very first stitch, then chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, all the way across until you have 2 stitches left. Here we are at the end. I have a chain 1 space and I have 2 single crochets left, so chain 1, skip over that chain 1 space, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, and then insert your hook into that last single crochet, pull your yarn through, yarn over, pull through 3. Then chain 1, turn your work, single crochet 2 together, insert your hook into that first stitch, pull your yarn through, insert your hook into the next chain 1 space, pull your yarn through, yarn over, pull through 3. Then we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that all the way across. Next, chain 1, turn your work, single crochet into that first stitch, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that, chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, single crochet into the next, all the way across until you have 2 stitches left. Here I am at the end of the row. I have a chain 1 space and 2 single crochets left, so I'm going to chain 1, skip over that chain 1 space, and then single crochet 2 together. Then I'm going to fasten off and leave a long tail. So now your front panel will look like this. It's time now to start putting things together and doing our collar. So we're going to lay our front panel on top of our back panel, and then using a yarn needle and our tail ends, we're going to seam across each shoulder, so right here and the same over here. So next we're going to take some stitch markers and we're going to count 7 inches down from our shoulder and place our stitch marker there. And we're going to do the same on the other side. We're just going to count 7 inches down from our shoulder and place a stitch marker. And then with our yarn needle and some yarn, we're going to sew from the bottom up until we reach our stitch marker. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So now we've created our armholes, it's now time to start working on the collar. So for the collar, we're going to chain 31. Then we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch into each of the other chains all the way to the very end. So at the end of the row, we are going to chain 1 and then turn our work, and then we're going to slip stitch into the back loop of every stitch all the way across. And you're going to repeat this row until your collar measures about 17 inches long. So now your collar should look like this. You should have about 17 inches long. So next we are going to fold the piece over and we're going to slip stitch the two ends together. So once you've slip stitched the two ends together, we're going to fasten off and leave a long tail. And then we're going to sew our collar to our neckline, making sure that the seam is towards the back and it's the wrong side facing out. Once your collar is attached, you can turn your piece the right side out and fold over your collar. And now we're going to start working on the armholes. So you're going to attach your yarn just right here on your armhole. Once your yarn is attached, insert your hook, pull your yarn through and then chain one. Then we're going to slip stitch all the way around our armhole. Once you've slip stitched all the way around, we are going to slip stitch into the very first stitch that we made. And then we're going to fasten off and weave in all our ends, and we're going to do the same on the other side. And that's it, that's your sweater vest completed. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe. Don't forget the free written pattern is on my blog crochetwithcarrie.com. So until next time, take care.